Hello, Toolkit Masters. Fantastic to have you here on Q&A Thursday. I'm really excited to share some really fantastic stuff with you. And it's probably something that we should have done and started a little bit earlier, but it's an apt time of the year. It's the end of the year. People are a little bit burnt out. People are a bit tired, fatigued, looking forward to some sort of break over the festive season. So I think it's probably apt to have a chat about this right now. And it's all, how do you recalibrate? How do you have a look at where you are currently, looking at what's balanced, what isn't balanced, and then how can you make those changes that you need to make so you can welcome in 2018 being on fire. So we're going to go through that with you today. And it's something that then you can take with you and maybe pass it on to your team members. So it's an opportunity for you to do that there. Whether it's an individual team member that you think's struggling right now and maybe they're feeling a little imbalanced, or maybe it's something that you can give to your whole team and a little activity and exercise that you can do for them. So listen in, it's going to be fantastic. Now, before we start, let's do a few housekeeping stuff. So I just wanted to, if you could put it in the comments in the bottom right-hand side, if you can see and hear me, that would be fantastic. And then I know it's all working, because that's important. Can you see and hear me is the question. And then I know yes. My sound is starting here, so I'm assuming it's all working. So, hi, Leanne. Fantastic that you can see and hear me. Fantastic to have you here today. Thanks for joining us. Okay, we've got some great stuff. Now, remember last week when I was speaking to you all, I was saying to you all that that we did those 50 miracle questions. Do you remember that we could ask our teams? Well, just to let you know that I know that a lot of you are interested in having some of those. So I actually put them on the tool suite. So they've been uploaded into the tool suite, and and you can download them straight from there. So in the unlocking portal, if you scroll down to, I think it's the second last tabs, or it might be the last tab, and it's tool suite, you have access to all the tools there. And I've put those 50 miracle questions in there. Not only the questions that I showed you last week, but even more questions. So there is, you know, abundantly more in there for you to go and have a look at. So go and download those. I think you'll find some really, really interesting and great things in there that you can utilize. Like, just pick 5 or 6 of them that you can just put in the back of the head and you can fire off whenever you need to. I know that it's nice to have a bank of questions in your head when you're trying to stop yourself from solving a problem perhaps, and you're thinking, no, I don't want to solve this problem, I want them to solve the problem. So what couple of questions can I put in here to start that process from happening? And you could choose from that 50 miracle questions that I've put in the tool suite, and maybe there's something that you can utilize in there. I think you'll find it interesting. So have a look, download it, share it with your friends, do whatever you think is going to be really helpful for you. Okay, so without further ado, thank you for joining us. We are going to talk about your own balance. How are you balancing your all different areas of your life? We're looking at 7 main areas of your life. 7 main areas of your life. So we'll look at those right now, and it's just going to be a really quick and easy sort of activity that I want you to have a think about whether this is for you or not. And if it is for you, I'm also going to upload this onto the tool suite so you have access to it. Okay, so so bear with me on that one. So for the time being, I am going to share my screen with you. So stand by with me for 5 seconds. Share. There. Okay. All right, live coaching. I'm excited. Time to reflect. So we've talked about this. So as leaders, we know that whatever we focus on, we're going to achieve it, right? We're going to find a way to achieve it. That's just what we do as leaders. The challenge for us that so many of us face is finding the balance. So yes, we want to achieve these certain things, but how do we find that balance to ensure that we're not focusing in all in one area and then, you know, missing out on the other areas of our life? So if you even look at the greatest leaders, they acknowledge that there's a gap between where they are and where they want to be with regards to balance. You know, perhaps their personal or their businesses or careers are really strong, but their intimate relationships are lacking, or maybe their relationships are flourishing, but their personal finances or their physical vitality or even their connection with children might be suffering. So we all have areas in our lives that demand more focus than others. So we're going to have a look at those today, and we're going to work out how we can get that balance back. All right. And this is something, as I said, that you can share with your team members in your team. So you can share this with them, whether it be an individual person that you feel might be struggling and get something out of this, or maybe it's the whole team that you think would be a really good activity to have at the end of the year so they can reflect on it over the Christmas break and then come back in 2018 with some more thoughts about how they can make sure that they're balanced. All right. So the first things that we have to do is especially when we want to close that gap of where we are now and where we want to be with regards to balance in our lives. But we have to find out what our current state is. Where are you now? And we need to find a map that can guide you where you want to be, but you need to have a starting point. So we can't show you a map and say, here you go, this is what you need to do, until we know where you are now. So this is not how you were last week or last month, but this is not how you want to be tomorrow. This is where we are right now. So this isn't something that you have to share with anybody else. So you can be totally 100% honest, authentic, genuine in how you answer this. Where are you right now? And I'll show you some questions that we're going to go through to help you really get a clear picture of where you are with regards to your balance. And not only that, if you stay with me, I'm going to share with you what my balance map looks like. And let me tell you, there's some opportunities there for me. So, yeah, so it'd be interesting to have a look at that. So first off, we have to work out what our current state is. What are we feeling right now? Okay, and then we've got to think about where do we want to be. So we're going to imagine that your life has 7 sections that you deem critically important and worthy of constant improvement, you know, because this is a constant thing that we have to do. So think of them as like spokes in a wheel. Now imagine the outside of your wheel represents 10. That's where you want to be in your life. And then the center of the wheel represents 0. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at those 7 spokes, and we're going to gauge our life right now in each area. So for each area, you're going to go whether you're feeling 0 or 10. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so there's your spokes of your wheel, right? Now, let's have a look at these as we go around. So let's have a look at finances. So finances, this is your financial well-being. This is how you feel about it. So, you know, on a scale of 0 to 10, are you financially where you want to be today? So the 10 on the outside is where you want to be in the future, but what you will be looking at is where you want to be today. So these are in 2 increments, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if 10 is exactly where you want to be financially, where are you today? It might be a 4, it might be a 5, it might be a 6, it might be a 9. Okay, so this is what you would be doing. Then if we go around to time, so this is on a scale of 0 to 10, do you have enough time in your day to do the things that you're truly passionate about? So again, the top is 10. That's your future presence. That's where you want to be. So where are you today? How much time have you got to do those things that you're passionate about? And it might be, you know, it might be a hobby. It might be spending more time with the family. It might be sharing stuff with your kids. It might be spending more time with friends. It might be going and exploring different exotic places. You know, whatever it is that you're passionate about, are you spending enough time doing that? And not everybody can spend 100% of their time doing it, but are you spending what you consider to be enough time to keep yourself energized and know that that's you know, where you need to be in those times? Okay, if we look at, I'm missing a spoke here. Okay, if you look at work, career and mission, so this would be this one over here. So 10 is exactly where you want to be with regards to, has your work and career fueled your passion for your life mission? So is it that you want to help people? Is it that you want to, and that's why you're a leader? Is it because you want to see people develop? Does it make you passionate when you see people start problem solve and build their confidence and build their skills and build their knowledge and, you know, become the best version of themselves? Is that what you're passionate about? And if so, on a scale of 0 to 10, has your work and career fueled this passion for your life mission? Has it done that for you? So out here would be 10. And then in here would be your current state. Are you a 10? Are you absolutely on fire and where you need to be? Or is there something in here that you're missing? So therefore that's dropping you down a bit. Then we look at physical body. So on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being your ultimate, is your physical body what you desire it to be today? Now, remember, these are your measures. So whatever you are a 10 out here, that's your measure. So somebody's 10 with regards to physical body might be, yes, they want to feel healthy and they want to feel good about themselves and they want to feel comfortable in their clothes. That's it. That's their 10. That's fantastic. If that's your 10 too, that's brilliant. And then determine what your current state is by giving yourself another score. Your physical body 10 could look something totally different. It could actually be, you know, you want to look like Chris Hemsworth, or you want to look like one of the Victoria's Secrets models, or whatever it may be. So this is your gauge, right? And it has to be right for you. So what is going to really float your boat and give you a 10? And for me, let me tell you, I'm not going to be any Victoria's Secrets model, but mine is specifically about feeling comfortable in my own skin, feeling fit, feeling healthy, and feeling energized. So that's my 10. So where do I fit on that current state? I'm a little bit away from that. So I wouldn't definitely give myself a 10 in that area. Okay, and then you've got celebrates and contribute. So this is all around, do you currently seek to develop whether it be your spiritual sense or contribute in some way? And this doesn't have to be just based on religion. It can be based on religion, but it can also be based on you giving. So do you volunteer? Do you contribute? Do you give to charity? Do you go on fundraising activities? Do you go on those fun runs that help raise sort of funds? All those sorts of stuff. So how do you contribute? How do you celebrate that? And are you doing enough? You might say, you know what, I do. I actually donate to a certain charity and I go on their fun run every year, and that might be enough for you. So that's a 10. So you might give yourself a 10 out of 10, and that's fantastic. However, you might think, no, you know what, I know I can do more here. I know I can contribute into my community a little bit more. So therefore, I'm not quite a 10. I'm not where I think I need to be. So I'm going to give myself a 7. My 10 is I do contribute. I contribute to my local community a lot. I go and volunteer. I do lots of different things in the giving space. But I think that there's still an area of opportunity for me to do more. So I certainly wouldn't give myself a 10 in that area. Okay, if we go down to emotions and meaning. So on a scale of 0 to 10, are your emotions supporting and providing you meaning today? So, you know, are they providing you with what you need? Are you feeling good in an emotive state? Do you feel like you've got meaning in what you're doing? And that's, you know, that's all about your mental well-being. You know, are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling stressed? Are you feeling all those sorts of things? Or actually, are you feeling, you know what, I'm all right. Other than being tired because it's the end of the year, I'm okay. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling strong. So you might give yourself a 9 or a 10 out of that. If we come around to relationships, so this is on a scale of 0 to 10, do your relationships provide you with the level of fulfillment that you want them to today? So how's your relationships with your family? How's your relationships with your kids? How's your relationships with your friends? How's your relationships with your workmates? Are they on a point where you feel like you're getting a level of fulfillment? It's a give and take sort of relationship, and you're feeling like you know, you're able to contribute and make a difference, as well as them doing that for you as well. So give yourself a scale of 0 to 10, knowing that that 10 is your measure, nobody else's, it's your measure. And did we do finances? I think we started on finances, didn't we? So there you go. So all of those are the outside of the wheel there will be a 10, and then anything inside will be your score for your current state. And that 10 is your own measure. So for example, with regards to finances, some people's 10 might be they want to buy their dream home, have a car that's less than 2 years old and be able to afford a holiday every year and get their kids through college. Whereas other people, their finances means they want to see lots of zeros in the bank and there's a particular number that they're looking for, and until they get that, they're not going to be happy. You know, so it really depends on what's your measure that you're going to measure yourself against, what's going to be where you want to be. And then you obviously will determine, well, what is my current state? Well, I'm a few zeros away from those zeros, so maybe I'll give myself a 4 or a 5. So this is really, really interesting, because what this does, I'm just going to go through those questions there, which will be available for you on the tool suite to download, so you can download those at any time. So what this does is enables you to then have a really good visual representation of where you want to be and where you are in your current state. And I think that's really, really important to see in a visual sense, because then you can use that as your platform of where you started. And then if you do this next year, and this is what I recommend that we do this every year, just to recalibrate ourselves, just to reset, just to determine, hey, have we got focus in the right areas? And if we haven't, how can we tweak it? How can we make some small changes? And you'll be able to have this one that you did this year and go, do you know what? I did really well in one of those areas. I'm really happy with that. I've put the right amount of focus on there, and that's growing for me. So let me show you and share with you mine. It's not as round as a wheel as I'd like. Let's have a look. There you go. There's mine. And I had to do it online, so the lines are not very good, so I apologise for that, but there you go. Now, let me tell you, if this was a tyre on a car, on my car of life, let's say, how would my car run? Especially if I was an achiever and I'm trying to go 100 miles an hour, how's my car going to run? It's going to be a bumpy ride. So have a look and see if your wheel is round. Is your wheel round, or is there some bumps in it? And then what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take one spoke at a time, and I'm going to have some little tweaks to it, and I'm going to have a little bit of focus on it. So for example, I could focus on the one that needs more help, which obviously to this one looks like time, because that's sort of the lowest score I would suggest. Or I could do one that's got perhaps a low-hanging fruit. And for me, probably the physical body. I'm just about to start at a new gym. I'm just about to start my swimming regime. I'm looking a little bit more at what I put into my body with regards to fuel. So maybe that's a bit of a low-hanging fruit, and I need to keep focus on that. So it's really up to you where you want to apply your focus. You can apply it in where you think has got the greatest need, or you can apply it on, you know what, I'm going to get the quickest wins in this area because I know I'm working on that already and I just need to dial that up a little bit. So it's entirely up to you, but just pick one. Okay, just pick one. You cannot do everything all the time, so just pick one. So you're going to pick one of those spokes, and say for me, I'm going to pick physical body, right? I'm going to pick that. It's a bit of low-hanging fruit. It's something I want to focus on, especially over the festive season, because I don't want to, you know, fall off the wagon and find myself 5 kilos heavier than I was last year just because of the festive season. So I think that that's going to be really ideal for me. I'm going to focus on that. And I'm going to give myself an end date. And my end date for that will be February, which means that's not going to change the focus. It just means that I'm going to come back to this, recalibrate my score, go, you know what, where do I feel like I am now? I've increased my score. I'm more of an 8 now. That's fantastic. And then go and concentrate on another spoke. That doesn't mean I'm going to drop the ball on physical body. That's exactly what I don't want to do. But what I want to do then is try and focus on another area that's going to give me that balance that I need. So I'm going to give myself 3 months on physical body because I think that'll get me over the festive season. It'll get some real good routines in place and it'll get some habits up, and then it'll start to become second nature and I can move in and focus on something else. Okay, so physical body I'm deciding, right? Physical body, I'm going to try and focus on that. So then I need a gap map. I need a really clear and compelling vision of what I want to do. And this is all about looking in the mirror and being really brutally honest about where you are. I have to be really, really mindful of the amount of times I've joined the gym and failed, the amount of times I've gone on physical training sort of regimes and totally failed, the times that I've gone on diets and it's totally blown out and failed. So I need to have a look at this and ask myself, why have I set myself up for failure? Did I ask myself too much? Was it too much change too quickly? How can I make this a sustainable change? So I'm going to go through these. So this is my gap map, right? So I'm going to, once you've figured out that area of the life that might be out of balance, that's, it's simple requirements to get step-by-step plan to help you build that sustainable momentum. Okay, so it's going to give me a clear and compelling reason why I need to do this and help me dial it up so that you help me dial up the why so, I can make the changes in this part of my life. So I'm going to ask myself where I am with this now in my area. I'm about to sneeze, so I apologize. I think that's gone away. Has it gone away? Anyway, it might do. Okay, might have gone away. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so I've got to write a few words and describe where I am now in this area. And I'm going to be really, really honest with that. And I'm going to say, this is how I feel. This is what I've done in the past and it hasn't worked, all those sorts of things. So what specific achievable outcomes do I want from this area of my life? Well, these are the things that I want to do. I want to be energized. I want to feel good. I want to exercise in the morning so it energizes me for the rest of the day. I want to be able to get up early enough to be able to do that. That means going to bed early enough. I want to be able to be hydrated, so I need to be conscious about how much water I'm drinking. I really need to be able to ensure that I'm eating the right foods to fuel the body without feeling deprived. So there's all those sorts of things. So I'm really going to be quite specific in this. So I'm going to be writing things like, drink 1 litre of water a day, or drink 8 glasses of water a day, or drink before every meal, drink a glass of water before every meal. I'm going to put some really specific, small incremental changes in there that will help me succeed. And then the third one, strong reason to follow through. Why do I want it? What's the emotional juice that's going to drive me to achieve this vision no matter what? So this is stuff that's emotional to you. What's really personal to you? So why do I want to be in my physical best shape? Why do I want that? For me, it's about energy. It's about having time to spend with family and friends. It's about having time to spend time on my business. It's about having time and energy to be able to do all the things that I want to do in one day block. And sometimes if you're feeling fatigued, if you're not energized, if I'm not eating the right foods, if I'm demotivated, I feel like I've got concrete boots. So this is going to make a real difference for me. Okay, so I'm going to answer those for myself. And then you're going to go on, and for that same particular one, you're going to say, okay, so what's the best tools I need for success? So what am I going to do? So this is, remember, my area of life is my physical vitality. So what resources are available for me to help close this gap? So there's heaps of stuff online. I've got heaps of books that I've bought before and, half followed through and never finished. I've got programs that I did online that I've downloaded all the recipes and stuff for. So I've got all those resources available to me. I also live in an area that's got some really great walking paths. It's got some parks, got all sorts of stuff that I can get out there and be active. So those are the sorts of things I write in there. Who are some of the possible mentors or coaches for you in this area? Well, that's great. I don't have any possible mentors or coaches who are really, really big in this area, but I've got so many people that want to do this. So I've got so many people that said, if you ever want to go for a walk, call me up, Tina. If you ever want to go for a swim or something, call me up because I want to come with you. So I've got lots and lots of people that I can tap into if I start feeling like I'm flagging a little bit and need some inspiration. And then what rituals do you need to establish so that you can have a daily discipline to follow through? So what actions do you need to take each day? And for me, it'll be getting up early in the morning so I can do that exercise in the morning and feel good for the rest of the day. To be able to do that, I need to make sure I'm in bed at a particular time. And I need to be able to turn lights off and social media off at a particular time to ensure that I get enough rest, as well as hydrated. So all those things will be put in here. So I would be saying things like, okay, make sure I'm in bed by 10, lights off by 10:15, don't take social media to bed, leave it in the kitchen or whatever. Take a book, spend 15 minutes reading to wind down, make sure I have a glass of water before I go to sleep, and then bang, I can get up early in the morning. I can put my alarm on for 5:30 or whatever, and I can go out and do the exercise that I need to do because I've had enough rest. So those are the things I need to do to get the best tools for success. So then the very last one is, so what's going to hold me back? What disempowering beliefs do I currently have about this area of my life? And for me, it's all about how many times have I tried and failed this before? Why am I doing this again? I know it doesn't work. It hasn't been sustainable for me before. I've never, followed something forever. So these are the things that I'm going to have to write in here. What are some of the empowering beliefs that I have or could have about this area in my life moving forward? I can do it because I want to do it, but I want to do it in a sustainable way. I don't want to feel like I'm missing out. I don't want to feel like it's hard work. I want to feel like these are all positive changes for me to be the best version of myself. And then number 3, when are you at your best in this area? Who are you? What is your empowering identity for when you're in this area? For me, it's feeling strong. I feel strong. I feel alive. I feel energized. I feel like I can take on anything. I can problem solve effectively. I've got lots of patience and tolerance and all those sorts of things. That makes me the best version of me. And I've seen that in me, so I know it works. So it's just a matter of remembering that, writing it down, making it a visual thing that I can look at every day. And this is going to help you too. So remember, whatever spoke you pick, you're going to be filling out these 9 questions. So 3 specifically around what's your clear and compelling vision of why you're doing this. 3 questions on what's the best tools and resources you're going to use to set yourself up for success. And this last 3 is about, well, what's holding you back currently? Let's get it out there. Let's get this smelly fish on the table. Let's just slap it on there and go, yeah, this is what I've done in the past and it hasn't worked well for me. Okay. Now remember, the first secret to achieving any results is knowing what you're really after. So you need to drive it to make it happen, but you can't overhaul your whole life overnight. You need to focus on making one small change at a time. So when I'm saying that to you, I mean, look at those 7 spokes. Yes, there might be opportunities for you in all of them, but just pick one. Let's just focus on one and give yourself an end date. Like I said to you before, I'm taking physical vitality and I'm giving my end date in February. So I've got December, January, February. I've got 3 months to get myself to a point where I feel like, okay, I'm in a good space now. I've got a routine happening. I feel like this is habit. This is second nature to me now. I'm going to move on to another spoke. So, and commit to those small changes. So commit to those things that you know that you can do. And most importantly, celebrate your small victories along the way. So if I get to a point where I get to the end of December and I'm feeling good, strong, still fitting in my clothes well, I'm going to make a celebration out of that because I got through all the festive season without being stupid about it. And that's something to celebrate. And maybe a celebration for myself will be, you know what, I'm going to take myself out to watch a movie, or, maybe I'll buy myself a new top, or whatever it may be. Whatever that celebration is for you, maybe I'll go and spend some time, with my kids doing something, whatever. But make sure you celebrate those small wins. And then let me tell me about your stories. I want to hear about your successes and how you've gone. So there we are. I think that's it. So just to go over and reiterate really, really quickly on the things that we've covered. So it's going to be, what are you going to do? How are you going to just picking up my notes here off the ground. Okay, so how are we going to reflect? We need to be able to ensure that we've got that right balance to those 7 areas of our life, right? So we're going to sit back, we're going to reflect on it. We're going to think about what our current state is right now and be really honest and brutally authentic with ourselves. Then we're going to think about where we want to be. So what is our measure of the 10, which is on the outside of the wheel? And everyone's measure is different, right? So it's going to be your measure, what's personally right for you. And then we're going to think about, okay, let's have a look at our current state. What are we, a 0 to 10? So we're going to scale ourselves. So with each of those 7 spokes, you're going to scale yourself. I showed you one of mine, which was a bit sad, but that's okay. It's always good to start somewhere and there's no right or wrong. And then we're going to go through those 9 questions. Remember, the first 3 around a clear and compelling vision, being really honest about where you are and where you are now in this area. And then what achievable outcomes you want, and then why you want it. Dial up that why, get your juices flowing on that. The next 3 questions is all about getting the best tools for your success, so the best tools and resources. So what have you got available to you now? What are some possible mentors or coaches that you can use? And what are the things that you need to establish into your daily routine so that you can follow through and get really disciplined on it? And then the last 3 questions you're going to ask yourself is, what's holding you back? What's disempowering beliefs do you currently have about this particular area in your life? What are some of the empowering beliefs that you know that you can do? You know that this is going to be such a significant change for you. And then, you know, when are you at the best in this area? This is something that you've seen yourself before or you've seen somebody else. What does that look like? What does that look like? Really visualize it and write it down, because once you've got that, it makes it really, really attractive to try and get there. Okay, so, and remember, we did say, make sure you celebrate those wins. Make sure you get in there and celebrate what you've been doing. All right, I'm going to get you back now because I want to have a quick chat. So I'm going to and bring you back to me. There we are. You're back. Fantastic. I've got my new microphone working, by the way. I'm very, very pleased with that. And my new webcam. So it was a bit of a disaster last week, but we've got it working this week, so I'm all good. All right, so is there... just making sure that you are back. Yeah. Is there any questions from anybody? Is there anything that you've got from me? Is there anything that you'd like to talk about what we've covered today? Is this something that you will share with perhaps some of your team members, even your peers, colleagues, maybe a partner at home? Maybe it's something that they'd want to do as well. Maybe it's something we can do together. So let me know. Let me know. Leanne, is this something you can see yourself doing? Terry, you got no questions? Just going to wait for a couple of secs because you might be typing. I'm really excited to start. When I looked at my spoke and my wheel, I thought, there's some great opportunities there for me to do things differently. And as I say, I'm going to go for the low-hanging fruit because it's something I really am passionate about at the moment and want to focus on. So I think that's going to drive me even harder. And, yeah, so I think that's going to be good for me. There's other areas of my life that I need sorting out too, and that'll come down to later down the track when I can focus on those. All right, nothing from you guys? Okay. All right. Fantastic. Okay, so without further ado, that's it for Q&A Thursday this week. Remember, download those tools, the 50 miracle questions from the tool suite if you get the chance. There's some great stuff in there that you can glean out. Just pick a few of the questions that you think are really, really mindful, and you can add them to any sort of situation. They're generic enough that you can just plonk them into any sort of conversation and go, this is where I need to seek to understand. This is where I need to stop problem solving and allow somebody else to find a solution. So therefore, I've got to place some questions in here. Okay, so just have a look at those 50 miracle questions and download them when you get the chance. Yes, so without further ado, I will catch up with you next week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next Thursday. Thanks, guys. Bye for now. Cheers. Bye.